Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. This is the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society organization with the mandate to promote good governance, participation, and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adaobi Obiabumo with Esther Bassi.
Welcome to the program.
On Public Conscience on Radio, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of corruption stories reported by our partner media organizations and drawing citizens and government attention for democratic actions against it. We also promote integrity by focusing on the rare cases of the display of honesty by public and private individuals in the course of their normal activities. The MacArthur Foundation supports the production of this program.
On today's program, we will be examining the hindrances of the federal government to act on the forensic audit report of the Niger Delta Development Commission it received over 5 months ago.
Before now, Nigerians were not new to investigative reports that exposed brazen criminality and embezzlement of funds meant for the development of the Niger Delta region since its establishment, and the existential rot in the NDDC was brought to the fore even more by a top management staff of the Commission during a public hearing at the National Assembly in time past.
Following massive calls for the federal government to investigate and bring to book perpetrators of corruption in the oil-rich region, President Muhammadu Buhari ordered a forensic audit of the operations of NDDC from 2001 to 2019 on the 17th day of October 2019.
And it is on record that President Buhari received the forensic audit report on the 2nd day of September 2021. The report revealed how several NDDC projects were abandoned or non-existent despite the release of a whopping 6 trillion naira allocation in 18 years.
Following the report's receipt, Mr. President promised to publish the names of all the individuals and contractors indicted in the forensic audit, while PRIMOG, civil society organizations, and several Nigerians rather called on the president to swiftly implement the forensic audit report and prosecute the faulters.
The big question begging for an answer is, where is the federal government on the audit report it received on corruption in the NDDC? Today's program is aimed at reminding the President Buhari-led federal government of the importance of taking action against everyone found culpable in nearly 2 decades of mismanagement and stealing of funds meant for the development of the Niger Delta. But for you listening to us, are you aware that there has been no known action against individuals and contractors indicted in the NDDC forensic audit report? What do you think could be delaying the government from acting on the audit report?
Be ready to join us through phone and text messages in the course of the conversation. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message is 0902-265-6167. That is 0902-265-6167. Please indicate your name and your location when sending your message. This number is for messages only.
Please begin to send your messages as soon as possible to 0902-265-6167. That is 0902-265-6167. We will give you the numbers to call shortly.
Let's quickly remind you that the final report of the forensic audit of the Niger Delta Development Commission was received by President Muhammadu Buhari last October, revealed that 13,777 projects were compromised.
And let me also share with you the assurances from the presidency 2 months after the release of that audit report. Presidential spokesperson Femi Adesina had this to say, and I quote, "We shall ensure every recoverable kobo is recovered for use in service of the people of this region, and those found culpable face the law." End of quote.
The reality on ground is that the public is not aware of any actions in place against the individuals and contractor involved in the nearly 2 decades NDDC frauds. Their identities are not also known.
But joining us in the studio to discuss the federal government's reluctance in going after those found wanting in the NDDC forensic audit report is the project advisor and lead at Social Development Integrated Center Social Action, Vivian Bello. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And also here with us is a legal practitioner and publisher of Kubwa Express newspaper, Barrister Felix Ashimole, you're welcome to the program.
The pleasure is mine.
While renowned broadcaster and executive producer of Inside the Niger Delta, Felix Mamude Akoga, will join us via the phone from Rivers State. You're welcome to the program, Felix.
Yes, thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll start off this conversation with Felix. President Buhari received the final report of the forensic audit of the NDDC last year. What is the mood of the people of Niger Delta as 5 months down the line, no action has been taken by the government against individuals indicted?
Well, the mood in the Niger Delta, that is public knowledge, because every now and then you see different groups in the Niger Delta bringing out statements, in some cases even having demonstrations, and all in the bid to say we want a board for the Niger Delta Development Commission. Please give us a board as fast as possible. So the mood in the region is one that, yes, the people are saying they want a board, but the president has said, I'm going to go through the forensic audit. I'm going to restructure NDDC because as it is currently configured, it is not configured to deliver the dividends of democracy. It's not configured to deliver, the people of the Niger Delta out of the abject poverty and out of the effects of oil exploration of over 60 years. So the president has said he wants to restructure the commission before he puts a board. But the people are saying, look, give us a board now. So that is the mood in the region.
Restructure, then give us a board. But what are the factors likely to hinder the federal government from prosecuting those indicted in the NDDC forensic report?
Yes, well, the president has said in December last year, by the end of the year, during the commissioning of the 1,050-bed space hospital in Rio, where the president did the commission virtually from the villa. We all saw all over the country, because it was transmitted live, the president promising again very seriously that all those that were involved in collecting monies from NDDC and abandoning their contracts, that everything will be done to bring them to book. So that is the president's position on the matter. Now, it's also, you and I know that the President Muhammadu Buhari is very, very slow to taking action. When he was first elected, the whole country was up in arms. Appoint ministers for us, give us ministers, we want the ministers. And he took his time. The first appointment of ministers didn't happen from May 29 till November. So, President Buhari, if you ask me, I have sources in the Ministry of Niger Delta, I have sources in the villa, I follow up on these things regularly. It is not for want of names to be appointed as board members. Names have been submitted to the president before now, but the president is insisting that he wants to bring some people to book. However, this forensic audit covered a period of about 18 years. So it's a very complex situation. The report has been submitted to him. Whatever their findings are, it will, the Auditor General has worked on it. They are still working on some parts of it. When they finish, they will move it to the office of the Attorney General, who will now look at the cases and say, no, Mr. A collected 10 billion. He has done his job up to, 6 billion. There's a 4 billion. Let us write him a letter if he will complete it.
But
Mr. B collected 10 billion and did not do anything. This man, we need to prosecute him. So you have to look at that. The office of, because you can't chase, the projects are 13,000 plus. You can't chase contractors, take everybody to court at the same time.
But at least we'll start from somewhere.
Yes, they're going to start from somewhere. So, but it is the prerogative of the Office of the Attorney General to look at the report from the Auditor General, to look at those that, because some people collected money, they walked up to some point, NDDC did not give them money to continue the project. So in that case, it is the NDDC that has not met the obligation. There are others who collected money and bolted without even doing anything. So if you ask me, those are the people that need to be prosecuted.
So
and they have to find a way to, sieve the shaft, the wheat from the shaft, to look at those that are going to be prosecuted. But the public is just anxious. They want to see action as fast as possible. But I will also tell you these things, there are figures, there's a lot of verification and all that is going on. The government too does not want to embarrass itself. It's not going to rush to court immediately. They have to be sure, because like I told you, NDDC operates a milestone arrangement for contract awards. They give you a contract to do a road for 1 kilometer. They tell you, okay, when you get to 25 or 250 meters, we're going to pay you X. And that payment is going to come from the bank, not directly from NDDC. So the bank too has an option to also go and verify. So if you bring somebody to court and then in the process of prosecuting the case, you discover that it is not the man's fault, it is actually the government's fault. You remember the things that happened with EFCC, so many people they took to court. At the end of the case, the cases were dismissed. So the government wasted money and did not achieve anything.
Okay,
so
but
they have to be careful to look at the cases judiciously, to know those that collected but I didn't do anything, and they can win those cases in court before they go to court. So the whole process, it will take some time, but we are all anxious. We want to see action.
Okay,
Me too, I want to see action. Yeah.
Okay, snippets from the report suggest that almost everyone who matter had a hand in the dirty NDDC deals. We also saw what happened at National Assembly, allegations of contracts awarded for some legislators through their proxies. So will this hinder the political will to punish offenders?
Yes, that problem will definitely be there. I'm not going to, tell you that they will not have that. The Niger Delta Development Commission was set up to empower the people of the Niger Delta. Empowerment. There's a lot that goes into that definition of the word empowerment. The other day we had and it's an agency where, of course, funds can be brought out to handle security issues and all that. So it's a little bit complex. The other day we had the governor of Rivers State, Governor Yeson Wike, openly accused the NDDC of releasing 10 billion naira to the APC to use in fighting against him in the 2019 elections, the gubernatorial elections. How true that is debatable. But it's coming from a governor. It's not coming from me or you who are just ordinary people on the street. It's coming from a governor. So before a governor will say that, I am sure that the governor has some security report. The governor has some evidence to what he's saying. So we know that over time, ruling party, and this is not an APC thing,
okay,
because the PDP was in government for a long time. So we know that the ruling party also uses the commission one way or the other to empower its members, its cronies, and those that supported the government to get into office, which is natural. But when you want to go down to prosecute some of these people, you remember that when the investigation started, there was the talk about a senator who had over 300 contracts,
okay,
in the place. So when you get to that point, where you see that the people who have contracts are the big boys, not me and you, Adaobi.
Okay, so in 1 minute, I would like to cut you a bit there, but in 1 minute, as a way of wrapping up, it is about 14 months before President Buhari leaves office. What are your expectations of the federal government on taking full advantage of the forensic report to fight corruption, and what will be your advice to the president?
Well, President Muhammadu Buhari, at this point, his age, the end of his tenure in governance, the only thing he can leave to Nigeria is legacy. I don't think the man is looking for money or something to enrich himself. No, he's not. We know him to be somebody who lives his pattern life. He's not a lavish person looking for money left, right, center. The only thing he has left for Nigeria is legacy. What are those legacies? I think he loves to be remembered as an anti-corruption crusader. So for me, I will expect that he will put in all his energy to getting those who are culprits, going back to when NDDC was established in 2000, those who are culprits, and bringing them to book
Okay, thank you so much for your intervention, Felix Makuga. We sincerely appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
We still have Vivian Bello, who is the Project Advisor and Lead at Social Development Integrated Center, Social Action, and Barrister Felix Ashimole, who is the publisher of Kubwa Express newspaper. You're welcome to the program again. I would start off, you heard what my guest Felix Akuga has said. He is optimistic and urging the president to leave a legacy for the people of Nigeria and those from the Niger Delta region by ensuring that those found culpable in the forensic audit report are brought to book. While he said that, you were smiling, madam, and you were also smiling.
I was also smiling, I was frowning.
You were frowning. You did not quite agree with what he said?
No, in as much as things ought to be done procedurally, our concern is time. This is 5 months down the line. We are not talking about assembling nuclear warhead here. We are talking about prosecuting people who have been indicted. The Office of the Attorney General has what we call knowledge. You can enter prosecution and terminate at any time you discover that you don't have what it takes to move on. The people want action. Secondly, while a matter is going on, the law empowers the Office of the Attorney General or the prosecution to amend charges before judgment. So this idea of let us go through proper screening and make sure that it's only the sinners are being prosecuted before we can start. This is 5 months down the line. It's just unfortunate. Let us see action. Let them get them rightly or wrongly. By the time we start filing proof of evidence before the court, we can now sift out those who are, let me put it this way, the low-hanging fruits. There are those that we can easily get into the penal system so that let it start running. 5 months is too long.
5 months is too long.
It's too long.
Get to Vivian Bello. It is said that delay is not denial. But what is the implication of the federal government's inaction on the forensic audit report on the NDDC 5 months after?
Well, for people in the Niger Delta, for all of us in the Niger Delta, I think it has been a scenario of disappointment, huge disappointment. Don't forget that this audit report, the forensic audit report, came from yearnings of the people. You know, there were cries of shortchanging, of corruption, of sleaze in monumental proportion from virtually every person in the Niger Delta. I mean, the madness in the NDDC became an open secret. It was no longer hidden, you know. And so the call for the audit came from the people, including, in fact, even the governors themselves at some point. Because remember, before the president ordered the report, he announced that it was the governors that came together. The governors in the Niger Delta came together and met him and requested that he carries out this audit, because that even the governors were tired of the corruption in the NDDC. And so now, as we are speaking today, even before prosecuting, we have not even seen the report. The report have become another web of secrecy on its own, which is fundamental. So, for you to even proceed to the level of prosecution, what are you prosecuting? It is only natural that, I mean, if you carry out an assessment, you have a report, isn't it? You see the report. So why are we not seeing the report?
So
where is the
public
report?
To have
Absolutely.
The report.
The people of the Niger Delta are being done a huge disfavor by this administration's decision to hold this report in secrecy. It's a huge disservice to the people, to the common man, to the common woman, to the woman out there in the streets struggling in the Niger Delta, to that man that have been deprived health care that he's supposed to get, to that man that has suffered one accident or the other on the roads that the NDDC is supposed to have constructed, which they did not construct, and now you carry out a report, an assessment, and you're holding the outcome from the people. It's a huge disservice. It's a huge disappointment. The people in the Niger Delta feel terribly disappointed, and we do not in fact, it's still like a nightmare for us that the president Muhammad Buhari could actually hold this report in secret, because we believed, that he's somebody that holds transparency and accountability in very high regards, and so for this to be coming from him since last year, this is over 5 months after this thing, and the people are yet to see it. So it's a big disappointment for us. This is not the way to prosecute corruption.
Okay, but we want you to paint a clearer picture of the impact of corruption in the oil region. I know Social Action has done a lot in the Niger Delta. Could you paint that picture for us?
Well, it's the impact is actually extensive. We have what we did was to deploy field assessment officers all over. I mean, since the government is while it's still holding its own reports in secret, to deploy assessment field officers around the length and breadth and all the nooks and crannies of the region to carry out assessment of the project and the activities and programs of this in the first place. There is still the issue of abandonment of project or half completion or not even carrying it out in the first place at all. Is still massively on. As we speak, a fundamental part of aspect of the Commission's activity is still in secrecy. That is the budget. Because it's the budget. If you want to assess the Commission, it is the budget that you have to use to know these are their priority areas. These are the activities. This is what they have done, and this is what they set out to do. But that document is not even available to the people, to the public. So you want to assess the Commission, you run into a brick wall, because what are you going to use to assess the Commission? I don't know if you're following what I'm saying. It's that bad. So this was the web of secrecy that this audit. We hoped that this audit report was actually going to, actions like that was actually going to break, but it's still on. But we find a way of.
So does it mean that the budget of the Commission is not on their website?
Absolutely. Okay. It's the budget is not available. So you as an individual, as a citizen of Nigeria that want to carry out an assessment or of an institution, a public institution, you're not even able to do that.
I want to believe you approached the Commission.
Exactly. We wrote several letters, not even approached informally. We wrote several letters. They referred us to one of the letters. In fact, one of the letters they referred us to, we sent it to they referred us to the National Assembly. NDDC said we should go to the National Assembly to get their budget. It was very ridiculous.
Okay, so now we'll move to Barrister Felix.
Yeah, I still find it mind-boggling that people still consider that President Buhari is fighting corruption. This is 7 years after. Nothing serious has been done in any sector to show that Mr. Buhari wants to leave a legacy. So when we keep adorning him with a rope, a borrowed rope of a man who is desirous of fighting corruption, we miss the road. So we now fail to properly engage him the way he ought to be engaged. The people of Niger Delta are crying. I feel their pains, but the truth of the matter, what are they doing at the community level? You see, when these contracts are given, whether in secrecy or at the wee hours of the night, the contractor moves to site. Usually about 30% will be deployed. They now put their plaque and write their name. Let the community identify the name of the contractor. You have major contractor, subcontractor, blah, blah, blah. Let us identify, rather than waiting for a Mr. President who has no desire whatsoever to complete this. In less than 14 months, the parties have started their conventions. From April to June, by the new INEC timetable, party conventions and primaries here and there. So governance has come to an end. Mr. Buhari will not do anything except the people who brought.
Are you sure that the president will not react? How sure are you?
I'm as sure as when he came to office, it took over 6 months to appoint ministers. At the end of the day, it was still the same old cargoes that he brought on board. So when the 6 months thing was given, body language, about body language and all what, okay, benefit of the doubt. We gave a bit of the doubt for more than 6 months and it still came back. Didn't bring fresh blood on board. It was the same old people. Now, we don't have time. This is injury time. We don't have the leisure of giving extra 2 months. Let the people in Niger Delta do what the community ought to do.
And what is that?
Raise awareness and identify that Mr. XYZ, this is the road that you ought to do. You've not done it. Let us start naming and shaming. If you're waiting for President Buhari and his retinue of staff, I am very, very sorry.
Okay,
Nothing
so
will happen.
Let's try and look at some legal perspective. how rigorous could it be for government to act on the forensic audit reports it's ordered? And can the federal government's 5 months of no action on NDDC forensic audits be justified?
It can't be justified. Now, legally speaking, you see, this has gone beyond legalese. It's a question of political will. The National Assembly has done what they ought to do. By virtue of their oversight functions, they have attempted a public hearing and decided to switch off the mic. Now, we have not bothered to ask for how long will the mic be off. And the good man who decided to take what they say in America, the fifth, and decided to plead that he's choking. Nobody has asked, has he actually died? And what has happened about the choke? Well, we just catch cruise with it, do TikTok with it, and nobody has bothered. So it's not the issue.
He came out to say that he really had a health challenge.
They did investigate. Now, let's leave that at the realm of speculation. On the issue of legalese or legal procedure, it is still the office of the Attorney General, who is also the President, that will commence the litigation. So if it were to be that it's the citizens that will do the prosecution, it will be a different ballgame. But when your principal is not willing to allow you to prosecute, you can't do anything. So it's not about the legal process. Do we have a man who has the political will to allow the other arms to do what they ought to do? So had it been Mr. President has the political will to do what he ought to do, by now the Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Malani SAN, would have commenced prosecution. But unfortunately, you can't run faster than your guy. So if your guy is not willing to go in a direction, my dear, we are wasting our time. So let it go back to the people. There need to be social, not just upheaval, but social table shaking in the Niger Delta to get Mr. President to know that there is something to be done. But if we are complacent and now say whenever he wants, let's appeal to Mr. President, I assure you, the way he will assure us, I will assure you, nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
Except the people.
Except the people.
Start asking the right questions. Yes.
How would you react to the conversation? For you listening to us, are you aware that there has been no known action against Nigerians and contractors indicted in the NDDC forensic audit report? What do you think could be delaying the government from acting on the NDDC forensic report? And what can citizens do to get the government to take action against perpetrators of the NDDC corruption? I must say that the essence of the forensic report is to ensure accountability and probity. We have a call. Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Igaro.
Let's hear you, Igaro.
I'm calling from Kasante. Good morning to everyone, in the studio there.
Good morning.
I'm from Niger Delta. Truth be told, I'm sick and tired of too many talks without action. Like your colleague has said, both legally and otherwise. We'll be talking, no action. Mr. President does not have anything to lose. He has 14 months to go, just like you have said. My brother, in the studio there has said, he has nothing to lose. But I think by now he's supposed to be thinking, okay, let me leave a legacy. 5 months has gone down the drain. Nothing has been done up to now. And the people of Nigeria are saying something. Well, I don't blame Mr. President because he's not from that region.
But he is the president of the country.
Man, he is the president of the country. Before he came into power, although like they said, power is continuous, governance is continuous. So he is supposed to inherit it and trash anything that needed to be trashed. But now the people of Nigeria, they are sitting on time bomb. Wow, how? Now, when you go to, for example, Baesa, you will see all our youths sitting down, drinking alcohol. When a politician comes and drops, statements to keep them short, you will hear them, I don't call them out, let's forget the issue. And that is why we are where we are now. And if you notice, you also said something, the governor came out and, speak. It's because they say a lot.
Okay, could you wrap up in 30 seconds?
I'm about to leave. But like I said, enough of all the talks. I just pray we can get it right and get someone that will talk less and, NDDC. These are two institutions that are supposed to be checkmating, corruption, crime, and so on and so forth in the country. But here we are. You will see, for example, you make mention of we have an Apache that is from Niger Delta and so on and so forth. I can stand and beat my chest. If the EFCC wants to do their job, Apache will not be sitting in that office.
So what do you think is limiting the EFCC?
That is what I'm saying. We have an institution, but they are not working effectively. They need to, like the way we call INEC, independent. Let the institution be working independently. The presidency shouldn't interfere with them. But we have the politicians, the presidency interfering in their everyday activity. And that is why you find that you can see a politician will leave, sorry to use this, leave APC to PDP because this is the ruling party and they will sit comfortably and still yet no armor. Please, this country belongs to us all and it's paining every one of us. What is happening in Niger Delta is also happening in other regions. For example, was it in Zamfara?
Okay, 30 seconds, please.
The president said that they said they are doing mining. It's legal mining, stealing, our mineral resources. So if the institutions are working, my sister, if they leave 1 billion on the ground, you will see it, you will run. You will not touch it. You will not. Because if you touch it, it's either you die in the prison or you rot there. So you can't go to China and go and steal.
Okay, thank you. I would have to cut you short there. So thank you so much. I could feel the pain he wants the president to act. But it does appear that the president is not acting. And I must say that illegal mining is going on in Zamfara State, not Katsina. He talked about the independence of the anti-graft agencies. Do you agree with him, Felix?
I do. But it's also because we, the citizens, have not deemed it fit to ask questions and take appropriate actions. It is the duty of the citizens to be restive and for government to contain that restiveness. It is our duty to keep shaking the table and for government to find ways to make sure that we don't break the table so that the country can continue. Until the citizens are ready, particularly the citizens of Niger Delta, they have tried the armed struggle way, joined the militancy. It has ended where it ended, didn't achieve much, apart from making very few of those militant leaders rich. The people are still suffering. So let the people find an organic, novel way of shaking the table.
And in your own way, what is that organic, novel way of shaking the table?
It will be arrogance of me to prescribe for people in an area where I don't live. So he who wears the shoe knows where it pinches him. So the people of Niger Delta are enlightened, adequately educated. They should sit down and ask themselves, we have tried this route. We have tried kidnapping. We have tried militancy. We have tried...
Kidnapping is not an option.
No, it was. No. This is the history. We will run away from how we have evolved to where we are. It may not be a rosy route, but they went through this route. They went through the route of the route of Kansoro. It entered militancy to kidnapping to them being paid amnesty of 65,000 naira, and they dropped their arm under Yaradua. Some of them now are traditional rulers. So the next generation should now sit down and say, we have gone through this. We didn't achieve much. How can we now re-strategize and engage government? If possible, get government attention between now and the next 4 months. It's simple. Every politician wants to win vote or have access to where he will be seen.
Best time to engage.
Definitely. You hold them by the balls now. So let PDP, APC, my lovely sister says she's running for presidency, her party be asked, what do you have for us? So let us sit down. But if we lose it now and live in the realm of when we win now, you won't get you won't get adequate political currency with which to hold whosoever emerges. So let it be that as they come to the Niger Delta for campaign or consultation, let these questions be on the front border. It's unfortunate if you go to Niger Delta, compared to what we have in Abuja, we have more bridges in Abuja without waters than in Niger Delta. So the people of Niger Delta should ask themselves, how come we are having bridges over gullies in Abuja, yet where we have rivers, lagoons, and streams in Niger Delta, things are not happening. Even the transportation within Niger Delta is problematic. So NDDC, how many floater filling stations do they have there?
So NDDC has failed the people. Is that what you're saying?
Fail is an understatement. They don't exist. So let the people of Niger Delta find the questions to ask. It's not my duty. I'm here in Abuja. So if I start prescribing drugs for their sickness, I may wrongly prescribe for them. So let them by themselves sit down, have a town hall meeting and say, we have gone this way, we have gone this way. Let us try this. So it's left for them to identify the this that will work for them and give them result before 5 months, before the next cycle of political campaign and empty promises.
Well, yes, he's actually right to a very large extent. But then one strong instrument that needs to that can empower the people to carry out the action that he is talking about is that audit report. You know, because the people cannot act in isolation; they cannot act in ignorance. This administration owes it a duty to let the people know who are those ones that have participated in looting their collective patrimony. They owe it to the people. It's not negotiable. They must release that document to the people, because when the people are armed with information,
Madam Vivian, that is now what you people will come together and agree and agitate.
That's what we are agitating for. Do you want us to hit? Do you want us to bring down Asorok?
No,
we are agitating
far
for
be
that.
from me, because
those are parts. That's why I'm here. You know, with the people.
We're having this discussion.
Exactly.
That's why that's why we have to go to Niger Delta and sit with them. We are here in Abuja in the cozy room. We need to go to Niger Delta. We need to move around Niger Delta and have this conversation with them.
Okay, I'll still get back to you, Barrister Felix, but what would be your advice to the people of the Niger Delta and the president in 1 minute or two?
This administration needs to know that when it comes to the Niger Delta, that it is sitting on the trenches of history, you know, with this report, with this audit report, to be or not to be. They have a date to keep with the people of the Niger Delta. And they are not asking for too much. The people of the Niger Delta know what to do. If you do not know what to do with the report, they know what to do with the report. Let them have the report. Let the public release the report. Do not audit the report. Do not panel beat which is what is going on now. You know, it's a big disservice to us and the Niger Delta that such reports will be released with the huge amount of resources. Don't forget the enormous amount of money that the consultants were paid to carry out, and they did an excellent job. Don't water this report. Release it to the people. Let the people know who had participated in looting their commonwealth. This is where that's the springboard where other actions will start. The people, the citizens will take it up from there, and we will do the needful.
You have heard Madam Vivian Bello said that the president should reveal the content of the audit report to the citizens. You have said that the Niger Delta citizens or indigents should go back and re-strategize, have community engagement, and find out a better option in ways for them to engage with their the stakeholders at the region.
Yeah.
But do you think that making the audit report public for the people to know the content of that report, it's probably a right step in the right direction?
It will help. But the audit report haven't slept with Mr. President for 5 months. I'm afraid what we'll wake up with. It may have been watered down, but since we don't have the original manuscript, how do we know what
version will be
released to us? So, assuming without conceding, they now release a report and indict only 5 companies, what happens? So, whether we like it or not, we now have a working document that has tied them down to only 5 companies. Let the Niger Delta people who cried and got to this stage keep crying and insisting that, look, this ought to be done, with or without the report. In as much as the report for documentation purposes is good, the people should say this and this and this. For me, it boils down to the people. This is a democracy. Well, if you keep saying government give us, government will give you what they want, and at that point, there's nothing we can do. So, in as much as the publication of the audit report is an excellent idea, it's just a necessary traffic mark on the way to achieving the best for the people of Niger Delta. But the people, it boils down to the people.
But do you think there's anything the legislature could do?
They have done what they can. So all we need is still the people that will go back to National Assembly and still ask questions. So it has boiled down to the people, whether we like it or not. So for me, the people should be adequately engaged in this process.
Do you also think that the media has a role to play?
Oh, definitely. But the media cannot report without the people participating. So you report what the people have done. It's not left for us to manufacture news, events. All we ask is let the media be open to give us unbiased, balanced reportage. So that's the role the media will play in assisting to make sure that the people get the dividend of democracy. So let the people start action. I'm sure if there's action now, we'll call this breaking news. So let the people give you breaking news. They should give you breaking news.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and your contribution.
You're welcome.
Please visit the news page of our website, primognews.org. That is primognews.org for all the details of our reports and interviews. Visit our website, www.primog.org, to get all the information about Primog.
And you can watch our videos on Primog TV, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. We sincerely appreciate our guest, the project advisor and lead at Social Action, Vivian Bello, and legal practitioner and publisher of Kubwa Express newspaper, Barrister Felix Ashimole. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is mine.
We also appreciate the renowned broadcaster and executive producer of Inside the Niger Delta, Felix Mamude Akuba, who joined us via the phone from Rivers State. Public Conscience is supported by the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience. And remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram at Official Primog. I am Esther Bassi.
Remember that birth registration and birth certificate are both free if your child is under the age of 18. Help stop the corruption in the birth registration and do not pay for birth certificates. Also remember that you can give us information or hints about corrupt acts through our phone 0902 265 6167 or info@primog.org. I am and thou be available more. Stay safe.